Well, Priscilla Clapp is a senior advisor to the U.S. Institute of Peace on Myanmar, and she joins us now live from Washington for more on that historic election. Priscilla, thanks for joining us. It looks like the National League for Democracy has overwhelmingly won this election, but what really are the primary challenges now for instituting proper democracy in Myanmar going forward?
Thank you very much. Yes, it does look this way, but we don't have the final tally yet. If the NLD winds up with more than 70% in the parliament, it means that they're going to have the critical voice in naming the next president. So we can assume that the next president will be a choice of Aung San Suu Kyi. And we also should assume that Aung San Suu Kyi herself will become Speaker of the lower house of the parliament, which will put her in the top leadership of the country.
But are Myanmar's military leaders truly ready to hand over this level of power and even be phased out of government entirely?
I think they are, because the way they constructed this constitution leaves them in a critical position in both the parliament and the executive branch. In the parliament, 25% of the seats are reserved for appointed military members, and that means that no changes can be made to the Constitution to moderate military control over the government unless the military approves, because any changes to the Constitution require more than a 75% vote in the parliament. So the military can essentially veto it. In the executive branch, the military occupies 5 out of 11 seats in the critical National Defense and Security Council that makes all major decisions on security and foreign policy. Now, Aung San Suu Kyi, as Speaker of the Parliament, will also be a member of that council. So in the next government, we can assume with an NLD win that she will be negotiating face-to-face with military on the future of the country. And I think the military is now prepared for this.
So give us best case scenario. What kind of democracy will Myanmar be?
It's still a patrimonial state that is controlled both economically and politically by a very small elite that was created by the military at the top of the society. And it's going to be a long time before it becomes a modern state in our sense of modern liberal democracy. But this is a big step in that direction.
Let me ask you about the Rohingya Muslims, the minority that was excluded from this election. How should the issue of their rights as a minority be approached now?
I think that in an NLD government, particularly with Aung San Suu Kyi leading the parliament, you'll see an emphasis on rule of law, getting the legal system fixed so that their legal status in the country can be regularized, can be fixed so that this won't happen again. That's the best case scenario. It's going to be very difficult because it is a deep emotional, social issue in the country, and people are really going to have to change to resolve this problem. But there is a much larger Muslim population in the country. The Rohingya are just a small part of it. And that larger population is also one of concern. Many of them were disenfranchised, but also many of them voted. They are legal residents, and they voted in this election, and they seem to have voted overwhelmingly NLD.
Okay, Priscilla, we will leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us. Priscilla Clapp from Washington, D.C.